So here's another example. This one's a little bit more challenging than Mrs. Potts, but this line right here is kind of a line of action. And a lot of the students, they see that, but they don't really know how it's being used in the drawing. So this line right here is actually only being used to help guide where the tail is going to be. Really, that's about it. Okay. So let me just kind of go through this real quick so that you guys can actually see how I would deal with this. Part of this, you may not be able to see all of this, so I'm going to put this here. There we go. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to decide where the big shape's going to be. So we're going to start with the actual circle where the stomach should be, and I made mine too much of an oval. Okay. So again, when you're doing this, draw lightly and don't be afraid to change it without actually erasing. Now there's another circle up here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and put in that swoosh. That swoosh is here, cuts off this little piece, touches the bottom of the circle, and it just flows out that way. Doesn't matter how long you make it, okay, because we're not using all of it. Keep it light though. That's super important. Make sure you keep it light because you're not going to use all of it. Next thing that you want to do is decide where this second circle is. So estimate the distance here. So, and this one is a much smaller circle. So start it off and draw it until you get it about the size that you want. So that would be step one. For step two, we got to add in this bean-like looking shape, and we also have to put in guidelines for the direction of the face. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in the guidelines for the direction of the face first, because he's looking that way. So I want to get that going. I'm going to use this reference line right here for this bean looking thing, and I'm going to estimate. Here's the top. It doesn't touch, so I'm going to estimate more or less where that's going to be. Okay, that's called negative space. So using the space here will tell me how close I need to get this. Now on the other side, it's not on this line, it's above it. So I'm going to come up here and connect these two together. So there's that bean shape, like a kidney bean. Okay. This line here, if I were to continue it, it tells you more or less where this chest area is going to be. So, and it connects roughly to about the center of the circle. And then we have this little line here that represents the neck, and bring that into the circle also. Okay. Now here's the back of the circle. So from the back of the circle, I'm going to put in an oval here that represents his back foot, and then I'm going to put in the back leg. For the front, I'm going to go ahead and put in two ovals that represent where the front leg's going to be. And I like to put those in first because I want to establish, make sure all of these are pretty much on the same floor line. Okay. Now this one, bring it in to this one here. And this one, you have this little piece here. And then from the bottom of this, you're going to go up. You want to split the difference here. So that's what we have so far. That should be step two. Okay. Step three is where we start putting in some of the details. So here's where the tail is going to be, and we're going to estimate how far is this circle here from here and from here. So it's probably here and here. So I can just put in a circle. Let this circle connect to the body. It's not a straight connection. You gotta, it's almost like a letter S. And then on this side, it connects over here. And this is going to stop roughly there. Got big fluffy tail. Now we can start working on, well, let's work on this chest piece. I want to make this wider here. I don't think I made it big enough. So here's this line here, and I want to go out past that. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to bring it right between the legs here. Right between the front legs here. And I'm going to estimate where this is. That's this black line here. I'm going to come in a little bit, and that's going to tell me where this part is. And notice that this is no longer a circle. There's been some changes made to it. So this will have like a slight depression here. And that gives him his body shape. Okay. Okay, so that, oh, the face. So here, where this line and this line intersect, it's more or less where the nose is going to be. And for the nose, they started off as an oval. Notice that most of the oval is on the right side of that, where those two lines intersect, because it's a 3/4 view. Okay. Where this line is, that's where the eyes are. So we're gonna, it's got like devilish eyes. So we're going to put in this eye here. And on this side, again, because it's a 3/4 view, you don't see as much of it. But make sure you get the angle, right? From here to here, you have the ear. Then leave a space. And then this ear, it looks like it starts there and about there. Now, from this line right here, we got to create this cheek. This is like an inner cheek. So we're going to come over and let it intersect right about there. And then on the other side, you can only see a little bit of it right here. The rest of the line stays the same. Then we have his grin. So for his grin, we're going to start here to right about here. And then we're going to start down here. It's going to overlap. It's going to come super close to this outer line. So it gets super, super close to it like this. And then for the mouth, we're going to come down, and it's going to get super close to this line. So it's going to come down like this, and it's going to stop right about here. So there's a little line there. Okay. So now we're ready to move on to the final steps. So let me switch this over. Now, one of the reasons why we don't make everything super dark is because a lot of times these outlines that we start with are going to change. They're not going to stay. In this case, we got to suggest fur. So, for example, on the tail, this has to look fluffy. So it's going to look like this. This part, it's okay to keep it smooth for now, right? For the feet, where that oval is, that's where the claws are. So here's one of the toes with a little claw coming out of it. There's another toe with another claw coming out of it. And then the little toe, so we only see a little bit of it. Same thing on the front. The claws are going in this direction. And then the little excuse me, the toes are going in this direction, then we have the claws. And this one, being the one that's furthest away, looks a little smaller. This becomes that. The teeth are represented with triangles, and you're going from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to start here, and then just start putting in those teeth. So there's 3 on this side, and on the other side. You don't have to sit there and count them, just make sure that you have plenty of them, right, for his grin. Inside of this area here, you have part of the eye. You can't see the whole thing. And then here, all of this, we're going to make that go away. We're going to replace it with fur. And notice that the fur doesn't all go in the same direction. It changes. So like here, this is actually coming down this way. So they're triangles, but they're not perfect. And then on this side, we're going to go past this thing here. When it goes over, then it starts coming down. And then this big old thing that we did there, that's just a guideline. So now we're going to replace that with the fur. And then this is the big part here. And then on this side you got a few. That's it for that step. We're going to stop at step 5. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through and clean it up, and then we'll erase anything else that we don't need. So I'm going to switch over to my Sharpie and keep the lines that I want. We're not going to do the colors. So let's start. Doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to start back here. So his tail is nice and fluffy. This part here is big. Keep this step nice and loose. Don't just try to follow the pencil lines, because when you erase, you won't see all those extra lines anyway. So keep it smooth. I hope this helps. Don't be intimidated when you see something like this. Okay, just try to follow the steps as best you can, but remember, everybody, when they're drawing, it's like handwriting. So everybody's going to be slightly different. Your style's going to be slightly different. So these are guides. Okay, you're not trying to recreate this. You're not a machine. So, but use this as a guide to help you recreate it. Okay, and also learn these techniques so that you can actually do your own drawings without always having to rely on other people's drawings. Okay? Hope this helps. Please let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, put it down on the comments. Thank you.